What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. We've got a great video for you guys today. Uber is getting sued yet again and again and again and again. Before we jump into this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to Buckle. Buckle is the best form of rideshare insurance, hands down. Now, what I love so much about Buckle is I get to combine both my policies into one, my rideshare driving and my day-to-day driving, saving me a lot of money. On top of that, they're gonna cover you in any type of incident, and you can get $20 just for getting a free quote by using the link in the description below. So check that out, guys, and let's jump into the video. So technically they're under like a few this week. The one we covered, which was the one by Elizabeth Warren, and then there's always, one or two going on, usually about the, misclassification of employees. Now, I'm under the impression that most of you, as myself, want to remain independent contractors, but the problem always with this is that then they can make all these changes and there's no predictability to how much money you can make because they'll cut the rates and they'll do all these things to us and we have really no control. There's nothing we can do. So in some sense, I understand the suits, I understand the strikes. In another sense, they drive me crazy because I'm like, hey, don't fight for that. I don't think any of us really want it. But the problem is, it leaves Uber and Lyft in this place where they can always kind of skirt above the law and do a lot of ridiculous things and get away with it. So we're gonna kind of talk about how they do that. Alrighty. Gig economy companies like Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, etc. have paid hundreds of millions to defend and settle claims over the past decade that they wrongly classified workers as independent contractors. But legal and practical hurdles for plaintiffs and state enforcers mean these companies have not had to reclassify their workforce. New Jersey's extraction of $100 million from Uber follows this trend. While it resolves allegations that the company misclassified its drivers and failed to pay unemployment insurance taxes, Uber and its subsidiary will not be required to change the way they classify drivers going forward. And again, what's frustrating about this is they can phase us out at any time, which I believe they are working to do right now. And arguably, we've been the backbone of the company and taken the blunt end of everything. So you can see why, in a way, it's very annoying that we're not treated as employees because we don't get paid nearly as much as we should. But then it's like a catch-22 because you almost don't want to be treated like an employee. I feel like there needs to be some middle ground for gig economy workers because when it came around, it was something the world had never seen. We didn't know how to handle something like that. One major hurdle for plaintiffs is that companies force gig workers' claims into arbitration, and federal courts often uphold mandatory arbitration clauses in employment contracts, said Shannon Liss Riordan, an attorney based in Massachusetts who has sued Amazon, Uber, Lyft, and others on behalf of gig workers. As private plaintiffs, we have our hands tied behind our backs because of the Supreme Court's willingness to allow these companies to use arbitration clauses, she said, arguing that state and federal agencies have a better chance at forcing change through injunctions. But winning an injunction and making it stick has proven tricky. A Massachusetts case filed in 2020 isn't likely to be resolved before next year. And an injunction that California Attorney General won against Lyft and Uber in 2020 was tossed out after the industry convinced voters to pass a ballot measure, Prop 22, protecting the industry's independent contractor model. Employee status would mean drivers get workplace benefits and legal protections, including minimum wage and overtime laws, unemployment insurance, workers' comp, and the right to unionize. Flexibility argument. Gig companies point to opinion polls that they say show drivers don't want employee status. Well, that's true, but that's kind of half of it. We also don't want you guys to treat us like you know what. It is abundantly clear that people who use the Uber app to make money do so because they value the flexibility, said Elix Anfang, an Uber spokesperson. That's why we are working with leaders to ensure drivers and couriers gain important benefits while remaining independent. You want to talk about couriers? Currently, you've cut their gas, You've brought in autonomous, delivery, which is pretty much going to put all of them out of jobs. Like, it's knowing all the other stuff that I think infuriates me so much. And it's like, it's so frustrating because it's like, I almost want these people to win a case, but I don't want to be an employee. And I feel like because we've never seen gig economy work before, really before Uber and Lyft, there needs to be a separate classification. Because there should be a classification that if we do put in 40 hours, we reach some type of benefits. Or, honestly, I don't even want that. I just don't want them to cut the freaking rates so much. It's ridiculous. Like, the amount of stuff they pay out hundreds and hundreds of millions for, these green initiatives, these settlements, like, all this stuff that they pay money into could go into driver pay. And they add all this new stuff and they cut rates, which causes veteran drivers to quit. But then they have to run crazy money into marketing to pull in new drivers continually. And so it's like, obviously none of us know how to run a big company, but it's like when you see outlandish CEO salaries, when you see outlandish settlements, it's like you're probably not running into these settlements if you just didn't always try to save your bottom line so much. The amount of take home we take on each ride fare now is outlandish. It's so low. So I don't know, like, something's got to change. Neither side's right. Uber and Lyft knows they can manipulate and abuse us. And then these senators and people that want to go fight for us are like, well, they want to be employees. It's like, well, Uber's kind of right about that. We really don't want to be employees. We just want to not kill ourselves, destroy our vehicle for $800 a week. It's a crazy conundrum, and I mean, that's why I feel like I can really only justify like 10 hours of driving a week anymore, because it just doesn't make sense to do anything more. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely check out Buckle, linked in the description below, and stay tuned for more updates.